So good morning, Charles-san. Thank you for being with us today. And
Shun-san, good morning.
good morning. And I've seen your recent articles on Forbes as well as Mana, and you're the manufacturers representative association president. I'd like to ask you some questions about the recent trends in the reps industry. As COVID-19, it's so difficult to make visits to the facilities or customer sites. Do you see any slowdown by the reps? I read an article that now more than ever, the reps are very valued by covering regional sales based on their trust and representing manufacturers' products. The meeting to discuss products in more detail. How do you see a recent trend in the visits and meetings face-to-face, handshakes mentioned?
Yeah, well, you're right. The meetings that were once held face-to-face, meetings with handshakes, meeting with lunches, those are gone for quite a while, probably still. The thing that really makes this an important time to use manufacturers' reps is the fact that reps are a trusted resource. You know, when you're thinking about maybe I'm going to use a different product, to use a new company you know nothing about is a big risk. When a manufacturer's rep who is already selling, for example, the customer may be buying fasteners. And so the customer's buying fasteners from the rep and they need a new kind of bolt.
Right.
Well, to just start with a new company is a risk. You don't know if that company is going to perform, but the reps, because they have for 10 years been calling on you, visiting with you, you know them, you trust them, and as a result, you can feel comfortable that they are on your side. They're going to take care of you as a customer. So reps have, you know, sometimes we say in the U.S. That you can take goodwill and put it in the bank for later. So you've been taking care of the customer for a long time. You have a big account of goodwill in the bank.
Right.
And then now when the customers get a call from a rep or an email saying, I need to have a Zoom meeting with you, the customers know the rep, they trust the rep, and they say, okay, this Zoom meeting will be a good use of my time. When a stranger calls and says, I want to have a Zoom meeting with you, they say, I'm busy, I don't know who you are, and I'm not going to have a Zoom meeting with you. So reps can get their foot in the door at customers because the customers know them and like them and trust them. A stranger, this is a very hard time for a stranger to be making calls on a customer because the stranger has no credibility. And at this point in time, you cannot risk your business on a salesperson coming to you who doesn't already have credibility built in.
Right. And you see, thank you, the difference in terms of coverages by the reps. I used to be sometimes reps would cover in the United States 8 major regions. Or under COVID, it became smaller territory, so we must have more reps in more micro level areas, territories. Are the companies reviewing such coverages of the reps?
You know, in our experience right now, the size of the territories is not something that is a concern to most reps and most manufacturers because the reps, they still call on the same customers, but they call on them by Zoom, they call on them by email, by text message, by phone. And that's probably a good point to make is most customers do not entrust privileges to text them to anyone except their most trusted vendors.
Right. right.
And the reps who've been calling on them for 10 years, they have text privileges, so they can text a customer and get them this message quickly, whereas anyone else, might have to rely on email if they're lucky.
Right, right. And companies trying to find new reps who have a difficulty through Mana sites and reaching out, selection, and do everything on Zoom, product explanation, training. Do you see any that trends changing and how people are adjusting to that distance?
Yes, I mean we're seeing more and more manufacturers for two reasons. One is the reasons we just discussed, that they need a trusted resource that can call on the customers, and the other is if they hire a new salesperson, this is a financial burden. They have to pay the salary, they have to pay medical, they have to pay the expenses.
Right.
And in the current economy, manufacturers are very reluctant to take on these new fixed expenses. The reps generally work on a commission basis. Some exceptions, but generally on a commission basis. So they are paid based on what they sell. And manufacturers are looking at that and saying, this is good. I don't want to pay a salesperson the salary and all the other benefits. I could be paying on commission basis for performance.
Right.
We're seeing more and more interest in reps from manufacturers, and we have on our website a free tool. In order to contact Mana members, a manufacturer needs to be a Mana member. But just to see, is this a good fit? We have a free tool now where they can look at our membership. They can see how long has this rep been in business, what's their specialty, how many salespeople, what state are they in, some narrative about the company, all the demographics they can see without joining. And then if they see that there's a group of reps that would be a good fit for them, then they can join and start to make contact. But as we're a not-for-profit trade association, so if we're not a good fit for the manufacturer, we don't want their money. We only want them to join if it's a good fit. So this is why we give them this tool, freely check and make sure and do their due diligence.
Oh, okay. Good, good. That's a good free tool to kind of get a feel for. So more than ever, it may be difficult in getting good reps as companies are trying to, it's more demanded than before.
Yes, there is more demand, yes.
Yes, yes, good. Oh, that's good. Good to know. And you see Japanese companies are coming in, but how long would you give the reps a chance to kind of really get a feel for learning the products and with confident explaining to clients? And I get a lot of questions like this, along with good reasonable range of commissions. Typically, I know it depends on products, but so those are good to know so that they don't propose something that's
yes,
completely different
yes.
world.
The time it usually takes to get started selling a new product, if a Japanese manufacturer comes and says, I want to sell in Pennsylvania, and the people in Pennsylvania don't know this manufacturer yet, it's going to take at least a year for the rep to get that manufacturer's presence out there. People, they don't say, oh, here's a new company I've never heard of. I think I'll buy from them right away. Even the rep can get them the opportunity for the sales call and get them the opportunity for quotation and submit samples, but they still are going to do their own due diligence and make sure that that the company can produce enough product. I had in my own experience, I had the opportunity to I was selling for a Japanese company that made gear motors, and we were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to have the chance to quote on the gear motors that are used in toasters for McDonald's restaurants.
Okay.
So when the quotation was successful, McDonald's said, we want to go to the factory in Japan and be sure that the factory has enough capacity. We're going to need so many motors.
Right.
And if it's a small factory that cannot produce enough motors, then we can't give the order, and we have to see this for ourselves.
Right.
So I actually went with McDonald's and the toaster manufacturer to Anjo City, and we visited the factory.
Right.
And they saw that this was possible. But at that point, instead of being the CEO of Manna, I was the rep. So I accompanied the toaster manufacturer and the engineer from McDonald's to Anjo City, where the gear motors were made, and they could see that the quality was very, very good, that the capabilities were very, very strong. And then afterwards, the gear motor company got the order for all the gear motors that were going into McDonald's toasters for Big Mac. Big Mac is a very special toaster.
Right.
Top piece, middle piece, bottom piece, all have to be toasted differently. So this was a very sophisticated toaster, and it was a big deal and a big order, and I was very, very pleased to be a small part of that.
Oh, wow, that's great. And now today, due to COVID, a lot of customers are concerned about those supply chains too.
Yes.
Do the manufacturers reps tend to select U.S. local products to carry, or so that they can reach their goals, or more confident? Do you feel that? And
it's going to depend on a lot of things. And this would be the same in Japan.
Right.
If there is a source for the products you need that's very, very close to your factory, you probably give them the first opportunity.
Right.
But my experience is that when you're looking at international manufacturers, there are companies that are in a very specific niche, and they're the really, maybe there are only 3 companies in the world that can make this product. And if if all of those companies are across an ocean somewhere, whether it's the Atlantic or the Pacific,
right,
then reps are going to will want to work with those companies and help them grow.
I see. Okay. Oh, good. Well, thank you so much. And I think we'll keep on learning from your site and try a free tool and get to become a member. And
thank you.
We'll hopefully try to have these short briefings and sessions bi-monthly or quarterly, so that we can continue to educate and learn ourselves. And we thank you so much for the great opportunity. Everything is assumption, so we want to clarify even a little bit for the remote audiences.
Thank you, Shin-san. I was very happy to be with you. May I just mention, if any of your viewers want to see the website, it's Manna Online, MANAONLINE.org.
Right.
And I invite them to visit the website and make free searches, also to read the educational materials that are free on the website. And anytime that I can be of service to you in ITA, you need only let me know.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I will get back to you soon again.
Excellent.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
Been my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
See you again. Bye.